Hello everyone. We've crossed the border from Nebraska into Wyoming, and we actually, because we wanted to follow the Oregon Trail a little bit farther before we depart from the trail to head up to the Black Hills and the Badlands, so we decided to cross just a little ways into Wyoming, and we're actually in Guernsey, Wyoming, which is actually down in this valley here, and as you can tell, it looks a lot different here. Just getting out of Nebraska, you really leave those plains behind, and the elevation starts to rise as you're getting closer and closer to the Rockies. But the Oregon Trail actually runs right through here, and we just stopped at Register Cliff, which is a well-known point on the trail because it still has the original markings from people who signed their names into the rock as part of the Oregon Trail, and it even said that there were some people that were prior to that that had signed their names in the 1700s even. So that would have been like probably mountain men and fur trappers. But they have a really, really nice, well-written little quote here that Chris is going to read for you, and then we're going to show you. This is one of the neatest places because you can see the trail ruts. So Chris is going to read this for you, and then we'll show you the actual trail ruts here.
So this is the plaque here, Oregon Trail Ruts, registered National Historic Landmark. And the quote goes like this: "Wagon wheels cut solid rock, carving a memorial to empire builders. What manner of men and beasts impelled conveyances weighing on those grinding wheels? Look, a line of shadows crossing boundless wilderness. Foremost, nimble mules drawing their carts, come poised mountain men carrying trade goods to a fur fair, the rendezvous." So in 1830, Bill Sublette turns the first wheels from St. Louis to the Rocky Mountains. Following his faint trail, a decade later and on through the 1860s, appear straining, twisting teams of oxen, mules, and heavy draft horses drawing Conestoga wagons for Oregon pioneers. Trailing the Oregon-bound avant-garde, but otherwise mingling with those emigrants, inspired by religious fervor, loom footsore and trail-worn companies, Mormons dragging or pushing handcarts as they follow Brigham Young to the valley of the Salt Lake. And after 1849, reacting to a different stimulus but sharing the same trail, urging draft animals to extremity, straining resources, and often failing, hurry gold rushers California bound. A different breed, no immigrants but enterprisers and adventurers capture the 1860s scene. They appear multi-teamed units in draft heavy wagons in tandem, jerkline operators and bullwhackers delivering freight to Indian war outposts and agencies. Now the apparition fades in a changing environment. Dimly seen, this last commerce serves a new pastoral society. The era of the cattle baron and the advent of settlement blot the Oregon Trail.
And you can see how the ruts are just carved into the stone here, and then I'm sure water more recently has helped to keep this clear, but you can really see where the wagon wheels would have come up this pass. And that, what Chris just read, it referenced Bill Sublette, and that was, 1830, that he was the first person to really take, what they were referencing is that when the South Pass was opened through the Rockies, so through the Continental Divide, they had to actually find a pass, and that was actually found in 1812. But due to the War of 1812, it was kind of one of those, the Indians had known about it, and that's how a group of trappers had found it. But because of the War of 1812, there was, it just kind of got faded into the background, and it took a couple decades then for it to really get used. And it was, so from 1812 until 1830, Bill Sublette was the first person who actually took wagons through the South Pass of the Rockies. So that's what that was referring to. And then, and it referenced the Mormon Trail, because the Mormon Trail was part of this as well and ran as part of the Oregon Trail for parts of it. And they actually, that was a whole nother interesting part of history where they actually had hand carts. Some of them pushed and pulled their stuff to Utah. So that's pretty amazing. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. A really neat picture in Guernsey of the trail, not the trail ruts. So, and we'll see you next time.